He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Attention, citizens of fair Gotham. Welcome to Bat Minute and Robin, the show that bat-hammers its way through this fantastic film, 1 minute at a time. I am one of your hosts, John the Hammer Parker.
And here, frozen in front of his microphone, it's me, Niall McGowan.
It is a pretty cold day as of recording, to be fair.
It is, yeah, it's a horrible, horrible day over here in sunny Ireland. But
that's here in Liverpool as well. First day this year, we dropped down to a 0.
Ooh, you're taking it all the way to 0 tonight.
Oh, yeah. But taking us all the way back up, heating things up, is a very, very special guest. We are joined by the one, the only, Neil Rickatson.
Thank you so much for having me back, guys. I just want to say, obviously, because this is an audio-only podcast, I'm actually currently driving a specially made vehicle that I constructed specifically to come to this episode, and it's shiny and chrome and it lights up.
Hey,
I understand you have 3 of them, one for each episode, and then they'll never be used again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they'll end up in a scrap heap. Yeah.
This is what were these minutes? Like, you, of course, Neil, because if people don't know who you are, you, of course, run 1995batman.com.
That's right, yeah.
And the YouTube channel of the same name, where you do a lot of reviews of toys from the Batman Forever line.
I think you call it crap, Niall.
Beautiful
a
crap.
few episodes, and I'm not holding a grudge or anything, but it is a lot of old 25-year-old crap. But it's a lot of fun as well. I've got this website, and I review a lot of the toys, the merchandise, all the kind of tie-in products. I don't know that I've got like the biggest collection, but I'd certainly say in terms of, for some reason, mugs, I seem to have got pretty much every single Batman Forever mug. I think I've got about like 15, 16 mugs.
Ooh. One could say you are a mug.
Yeah, exactly. A mug for Batman Forever. I do love Batman Forever. And yeah, I've got a lot of kind of tangential love for Batman and Robin as well. Obviously not as much. I don't love it as much, but you know, it's for better or worse the sister film of Batman Forever. So I got to give it some love.
It's Batman Forever amped up, whether you like that or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that you do review like mostly toys, like merchandise, but toys.
Yeah.
You these minutes were very quickly put aside for you, like way back in the beginning of the season. Like, I know a man who could talk about some tat. That has to do with
I wonder why, Niall.
Well, I think last time I was on, I did the Batwing coming to kind of take Batman to Claw Island, so I kind of knew we were going to go for this same trope of the special vehicle.
Yeah.
Although, as we've established throughout the season so far, there's a remarkable amount of things in this movie that are not turned into toys.
Oh yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? There's the things like the Freeze-mobile. You'd think like, well, it looks like a toy and it acts like like it turns into a rocket at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
So it's like, why wouldn't you do that? The same with the Bane. Like, they made some Bane toys, but they never had that big the big button that he has on his chest, which seems like such an obvious kind of like, you press it and it, I don't know, blows it up, you know, or expands it in some ways.
Yeah.
There should have been like an inflatable and deflatable Bane, like some kind of Stretch Armstrong scenario.
Yeah,
maybe?
Not to knock Duke Swenson, but he does look a little bit like a Stretch Armstrong come to life. When you like pull it and then it kind of squishes back a bit more than it needs to. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah. It does seem like it's. But beyond that, though, there's like there's really obvious things that they didn't make into a toy, and then there's so many friggin' toys that have nothing to do with anything that's going on in the movie.
Yeah. There are, and I think that's part of the fun of Kenner, that they figured out kind of just fun ways of sort of, there's a word for it, and I'm really struggling on it. I should have written it down. But it's ways of allowing the kids to tell their own stories with the toys. Like, I know that was kind of like one of the buzz phrases, and I know that DC and Warner gave them quite a lot of license to just go crazy, go nuts, to put neon stuff, put massive wings on his backpack. Whereas compared to, like, one of the other things that Kenner did was the Star Wars toy line, which apparently was really, when they started doing like episode 1, they were really strict. They were like, "Oh, can we put a backpack on Obi-Wan, or can we have like a little flying thing for Qui-Gon?" And they were like, "No, you make him look exactly like he looks like in the picture, and that's all you do." Yeah, so it's a bit sort of bit stingy, really.
That's no fun. Like, half of the toys I loved as a kid were ones that, and they were nothing to do with the franchise. Like, I had loads of, we've brought it up before, Terminator 2 action figures.
Oh yeah, Terminator 2. That's another Kenner. Yeah.
Yeah, they were
the
nothing
aliens
to do with the movie.
The aliens
And
ones were like,
yeah.
gorilla alien and bull alien. Like, what?
I had the bull one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine with Star Wars, though, they might be still like, I remember, like, way back in like 1980, we brought out a Yoda toy where he had some snakes. And we never heard the goddamn end of those snakes.
Yes.
So make them look exactly like they do in the goddamn movie. Don't do anything, because you'll never hear the goddamn end of it.
Well, speaking of movies, we are here to talk about a minute of this movie. It is minute 103. The minute starts with a bit of a chill, and it ends with our heroes equipped to kill.
Hey. Although they won't do that in this movie. Although...
No.
No, they pointedly don't kill the guy they go up against this week, actually. But
Yeah, they're not Michael Keaton blowing people's trousers up.
one thing I noted, though, straight off, because we got, like, 4 seconds of Freeze blasting things, and it cuts back to him from behind. I had never noticed before that we do get some shiny Arnie butt in this movie at one point. Like, they've not only has, Clooney, Silverstone, and O'Donnell's buttocks been lovingly recreated for their costume, Arnie does have a big old, he's got kind of a Freeze thong scenario going on here.
Yeah.
And some shiny cheeks, which is like nice to see that he also got in the action too.
Well, I mean, with Arnie, it could be that this isn't Arnie. This could be his stunt. If it's not his face, then it's most likely Arnie's stunt double.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I know that it was kind of a big thing that he would really only be on camera if he was definitely in close up or saying a line. Other than that, they had a stunt double. And what they did was, I realized recently, was the makeup people actually did a mold of Arnie's mouth, so that even if the stuntman's in the suit, he's wearing kind of like a kind of prosthetic Arnie mouth. So even if you had like a medium shot or something, you'd still think it was Arnie.
Any excuse not to film a scene.
I know, it's like... Poor George Clooney's like, can I not film a scene? I've got like ER to get back to. But no, George, you've got to be on set. Arnie, you can go.
Yeah. I wonder if they made a replica of Arnie's butt. And they're like, well, people know that ass, so like this is a stuntman with no ass having to wear like a fake Arnie butt.
A fake Arnie butt, yeah.
And he's just like, only the finest of eyes can track the difference.
And Niall, you know a thing or two about Arnold's buttocks, I'm sure.
It's almost as famous as Nightwing's.
Oh yeah. I do love these shots of him freezing the city. But I always kind of assumed, sort of like the beginning, like he would make a freeze bomb instead. Maybe he should have, because this is very slow.
This is a thing that really bugs me in that, and it's just a little bit of like a kind of, maybe a little bit of an OCD issue with me, where, if like a teacher wrote up in the blackboard and then they wiped it away, but they left little remnants of the previous letters, and you see like the edge of something, it always bugged the crap out of me. I always want to go up and wipe it completely clean. And Freeze is so haphazard. He's just so spraying it everywhere. You should be able to do it in even kind of thing. Start one end, cover it entirely, and make your way across. But he's just sort of like
enjoying himself too much.
Yeah. He might as well have like the Nintendo Power Glove in this scenario. He's just like it's so much a kind of arcade like thing he's got going on, where he's just like, oh yeah, go like, pumped a load of quarters into his freeze ray, and he's just having at it with the entire city here.
And for a guy who's meant to be like, mourning his wife he thinks his wife is dead now. He's quite kind of happy and like kind of yes.
Oh yeah.
Well,
it's really kind of reveling in it.
You've got to find joy and humor and light within the dark.
I mean, then now he's just like the wife's death is just an excuse for him now. It's like, I always wanted to do this, but now I can. Now I've got the full, nothing hold me back.
She always said to him, Victor, no freezing the city now. Okay.
The thing is, so we do get like several shots of the city going under, and I don't think it's the very first, because I know like in Batman Returns you got like little shots of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys in like the background of that place of the devil guys blowing the flames in front of the start and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But within the shot we do get like it's almost like once you spot it you can't unsee it, of active product placement where a brand name that exists in the real world is visible, because we see Taco Bell gets frozen in the way past, and this is a thing we've not brought up all season, weirdly enough, considering how much we had to talk about McDonald's in Batman Returns and Batman Forever, because of course the infamous McDonald's were infuriated with Batman Returns because it's so inappropriate for kids, and they had like launched an entire merchandising tie-in to do with it, and it led to them having a kind of more of an active sway over what was in Batman Forever. They had to send footage to McDonald's to kind of get approved and stuff, and then of course led to, I think you probably have them, Neil, the infamous McDonald's Batman Forever glass mugs.
Oh yeah, they are pretty special. Yeah, they're pretty priced. I have them downstairs, not in the attic.
Ah, nice. It's
every
regular use.
Once in a while, people will tweet us going, "I just got the whole set," and I'm just like, "Oh, someday," like because they're always like quite like it's a bit too expensive on eBay for my taste. So
yeah. No, I understand that. I have my limits as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to make a note then. Next Christmas,
Yay.
Present for nothing.
But yeah, so. You would have thought, though, after the rampant success of Batman Forever and those glasses, the whole tie-in kit and caboodle, that McDonald's would be back. But they actually weren't. The McDonald's had nothing to do with this movie. It was, in fact, sponsored. Oh, not sponsored, but, like, its fast food tie-in was to do with Taco Bell.
Which is weird, because Taco Bell, especially at the time, not international.
Yeah.
No.
Like, we didn't get a Taco Bell in Liverpool until, what was it, like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago.
I've been to it once. And
I've been to it twice, and it was mediocre both times.
That's the thing with the replica. I know we do have well-known friend of the show, Stephanie Palacino, who has gone on many rants on and off air about how terrible UK Taco Bell is in comparison to the US, because obviously she's gone from both countries. She's American, lived in the UK for a long time. Is there a Taco Bell? Did you grow up anywhere near Taco Bell, Neil, or was it just sort of like
no? That was
dream?
That was another thing. Like, all those American sweets. I used to love like American sweets and stuff. Where it was just like, I never sort of experienced Taco Bell. I've got a number here because I looked up some numbers in terms of like what was spent, and apparently Taco Bell supported Batman Run with $20 million dollars in TV spots.
How is that cost effective? Would they really make 20 million
and
plus?
I guess they would have shown this shot of Taco Bell like in the
getting frozen.
Yeah,
I should have looked on YouTube. There probably is the advert somewhere, but that's crazy.
That is wild. Think about the amount of so they're expecting. You don't do these to break even. You do these to make money. So they're expecting to make, to hit 20 million and then go over that.
Yeah.
Purely on the extra business that this will bring it. That's weird.
Yeah. And was it Taco Bell that had the plastic mugs?
Yeah.
I want to say, Taco Bell did the plastic mugs for this, which, is a massive downgrade from the glass mugs at McDonald's.
Well,
and obviously glass, ice, like I don't...
Yeah. It writes itself.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so weird as well, considering they poured all that money into this movie, and yet, Taco Bell is not an international brand, but there is the infamous thing with Demolition Man.
Oh, yes.
Because they had, and it was always even weirder to me, because in my mind, Demolition Man is the whole Taco Bell thing, where in the future, the franchise wars resulted in Taco Bell winning, and now every restaurant is Taco Bell.
No.
But then in the UK, and apparently in Europe, it was Pizza Hut. I believe.
Pizza Hut, yeah.
I don't know,
Because nobody knew what Taco Bell was.
Yeah, but weirdly enough, every time I believe I've ever seen Demolition Man, particularly in Ireland, maybe at least, but it was always Taco Bell, because I was always like, what is Taco Bell? I've never come across this thing.
Oh, that's weird. I've never seen the Taco Bell cut.
Oh, wow. Well,
Release the Taco Bell cut.
So release it, it's out there. Oh, apparently I'm bumping into it left, right,
Re-release it.
Release it in the UK.
Well, now I don't think I've ever seen the Pizza Hut cut, though. The Pizza Hut cut.
Just call it the Hut cut.
Jabba the Hutt is playing like Simon Phoenix in it or something.
Well, the funny thing is, they changed the name, but they're clearly eating Taco Bell.
Is it just
They
like
don't
literally
change
someone,
the food.
a guy coming in
Yes, it
going
is,
and
no.
doing a dub of Stallone going, the Pizza Hut, like every once in a while.
Basically.
Yeah, you get the same guy to do Jabba the Hutt for his scenes in the Hut cut.
It's the same voice.
Whoa, watch your boggle. Whoa. I just really wanted to fit that Jabba the Hutt saying "Watch your boggle" into the show.
I have a question about what's going on here as well. So he's freezing not just the city, but he's freezing all the people and things. And as we've established, Batman has a very limited time to save frozen people.
Oh yeah, this is my boggle for these 3 minutes. I think what you're going to
I know exactly. You're gonna say what I'm gonna say. I think it's like they even bring it up actually in the preceding minutes. The time restraint. There's not a chance in hell he saves these people in that time limit.
No.
No.
I was going to try to keep track of in real movie time how long this all takes, but that won't translate to like they had to get all the way from Ivy's base, presumably, maybe even go back to the Batcave to change because they're in new outfits.
Yeah.
Then get in the new vehicles and then come all the way from Wayne Manor. Maybe at a push, Batman thought, I'm going to have to deal with Mr. Freeze. So he brought the Bathammer with him and maybe the outfits. But Robin went to Ivy's on the Redbird. We saw it outside, and yet we'll talk about it next minute. But Robin's got a new vehicle, so the Bathammer have to haul another vehicle with it, and
Do it on the back.
Yeah, maybe, and maybe Batgirl arrived on the bike. But even then, it's like, where are they coming from? And like, how much time to squeeze into one of those suits? It would take forever to get in those things. Like, that must be a nightmare. But
Yeah. I don't get it. If they'd just not drawn attention to the time limit earlier on, just don't mention it.
Yeah.
I could suspend my disbelief enough. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, it's not ice he's freezing them with. It's like, it's some kind of strange chemical he's made that freezes people.
It preserves people
rather
than suffocates them within ice and they die in 11 minutes. Like, if you got rid of that time limit too, I think it could have led to, because we were complaining last week, Neil, about the downfall of Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of a spin on she falls into that plant and it eats her? Why? Like what's happening there?
I did skip back and I did think like in the time she takes to say curses, she really could have like moved forward before it closed on her. But no, I did want to say like this movie is obviously borrowing a lot of the same structure as Batman Forever. And I like the structure. I like the structure and the plot of Batman Forever. I think it's a pretty good kind of balancing act. You've got the heist at the start. You've got the young person coming into Wayne Manor and getting down to the Batcave. You've got the party getting crashed by the villains, and then obviously at the end of the film, they're taking on Mr. Freeze again. So Batman Forever, you're taking on Two-Face, but you're ending by taking on the Riddler.
Yeah.
At his place. But Batman and Robin, we're taking on Mr. Freeze at the start, and we're also taking on Mr. Freeze at the end. And I think that's part of what makes the film kind of too weighted in Arnie's favour. I think I would like the movie more if it was Poison Ivy who had the big doomsday plan at the end.
Yeah, that
would balance it out, and then you could have kind of Batman come to Mr. Freeze and be like, "Please help me with all these giant plants, help me freeze them or something," and then you get his redemption arc.
That makes total sense too. Like, how do you take over these rampaging plants that are like they have a mind of their own, and they're getting everywhere? All you would have to freeze them en masse in a flash. And we know a guy who at the beginning of the movie was going to freeze the city within seconds. Oh, there you go. That's an actual perfect way to get to a climax. But yeah. Oh, but everything with Ivy at the end just feels like a real like. But one thing I would, if they had taken away the time limit thing here of the 11 minutes, what I would have had is like move these two things together. So Freeze is freezing the city while they're in dealing with Ivy, and maybe Freeze maybe he just turns on Ivy. He's just like, I'm not interested in this woman. I'm going to take her out as well, and he starts freezing the hideout, and maybe and somehow like. Or maybe it's just like coincidental they're out in this, the fight bursts out into the streets or something while that's all happening. And just maybe have it be that, like, there's an area where Freeze is freezing, and Ivy's trying to get one of the gang into that area to freeze them, and somehow they manage to fling her, and Ivy's downfall is she gets frozen by Mr. Freeze. And there you go. It's like, we're blended these two things together. It's a more satisfying conclusion than eaten by her own plant. But there's, and that would have been a perfectly fine ending if there was a reason for the plant to eat her. But there's not.
Yeah. There's absolutely no reason. It's insane. I still can't wrap my head around it like a week later.
But yeah, actually, speaking though of elements to do with Batman Forever, and now that we're back out into the Gotham streets, there's one thing we never brought up last season that I totally forgot was a thing that happened. And you might will be familiar with this yourself, Neil. The lawsuit that was landed on Batman Forever due to them using footage of an architecture for the Second National Bank of Gotham.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I did hear something about that.
Yeah, because this whole thing was an artist called Andrew Lester, who does large scale public art. And he created a space outside the 801 Tower in Los Angeles called Zanja Madre, which is those big kind of weird towers that look like they have like rotating helicopter blades at top, or like a UFO, like these kind of circular things. And if you've seen that infamous poster of Batman Forever with Two-Face, where he's got both his palms on his chest for some reason.
Yeah.
In the background, you see them, and they are at the start of the movie and stuff. And apparently it was one of these scenarios where he went to see the movie, or probably just saw the poster, and was like, that's my art. That's my artwork. What the hell? No one consulted me about this whatsoever. And it turned out that, like, Warner Brothers had just gone to the building. We're like, can we film here? Sure, fine. And they never consulted the architect or the artist. And it was kind of a weird one, because it's like, well, this guy's art is been used for advertising. They built miniatures of it and everything to use in the stunts and stuff. So isn't he inclined? Is he not obligated to get a little slice of that pie, because it is his design? Like they pay a design team to do everything else.
The legal world is a strange place.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think they shot anything like on actual streets for Batman and Robin. I think I might be wrong there. I might be wrong. I know. I always thought that on Batman Forever, and then someone did a video recently on YouTube where they tracked down. The bit where the Batmobile kind of goes up the wall, obviously not the actual bit, but the kind of chase before that is actually genuine kind of LA streets. But yeah, so yeah, maybe that was because this is all of these shots of Gotham just look to be sort of like Warner Brothers backplot.
Well, it feels like you're going into like almost like
almost like it might be like Lois and Clark, filming around the corner or something. I tried to look really closely and see if I could like recognize any of it, but I couldn't.
Borderline feeling like it's going to be like Stars Hollow from Gilmore Girls or something. Like I would throw it out of a load of neon, but it's almost like a weird throwback to '89 where. And actually Batman Returns, because in those movies, like every time out in the streets, it's like, there's the Monarch Theater again, and there's the museum, and then Batman Returns is like, it's Gotham Square! Again! It's the same goddamn location. Whereas Forever felt like, they were branching out a little bit, but now this, again, looking at this in deep, minute by minute detail, It's just like, there's the headroom, there's the Taco Bell, there's the headroom again, and there's that opticians or whatever, and
That's all you need. It's all important stuff.
yeah. But that guy, Andrew Lester, did not win that suit.
Did he not?
Yeah.
He sounds like the kind of guy. I don't know. I'm sort of picturing him like a kind of like a Bruce Timm kind of like animated series, like turned into like a villain maybe.
Yeah.
The Architect. Like, I'm going to teach them a lesson.
I like it. The Architect.
I don't know what kind of things like, you can, with the power of his mind, he can build structures that no one can escape from around them instantly.
Like playing Fortnite. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
That.
He
So
fell
there you
into
go. The kids would be down with it.
He fell into some radioactive cement or something.
I also get a bit upset because it's funny, but I'm sad. A bulldog gets frozen mid pee.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I do feel bad for that dog because it's midstream. Like, you're just about to start, and then you're just like, oh god. Like, you could almost do a comedy scene of people in a bathroom and this happening, and have the look on their face of like, no. The poor dog just can't emote at all, so it's just like, oh yeah, that poor dog, I guess.
Oh, so maybe it's a good thing it's going to die then, because
Oh.
it's going to die in less time than a human, right?
It's got a smaller lung capacity, yeah. So maybe.
I mean, none of this makes it, because I'm pretty sure when they thaw the city, the dog does shake off the ice and walks away.
That's true.
So.
That's true.
Yeah, but we're ignoring what happens in the movie. I'm talking about real life.
Well, people are weirdly ignoring this giant beam in the sky, because when he freezes everyone in the street, no one's just like running away in terror or freaking out. Like, you see this thing a mile away, but people are just sort of like walking across the street like, oop, I'm frozen.
It's Gotham. They're used to it by now. It's like, oh, another doomsday device. Okay.
Yeah, they did play it very cool when the Joker came on that giant cake, to be fair. And like, I was like, he's got money! Now we react! Of course, Batman Returns, they were in bed when the freaking army of penguins came. No one was even out in the streets.
Nobody even believed that happened. Like, an army of penguins, don't be stupid.
Yeah, Batman keeps coming out and making this announcement how he stopped an army of penguins, but like, not one person saw it. I do like the flash forward there. I like to think this is Colin Farrell in the phone booth that gets frozen.
Okay, yeah, I didn't. Oh well, it's maybe a reach, but I didn't know whether it was like a nod to like the old Superman kind of going into the phone booth, getting changed.
I don't think that's a reach.
Yeah, maybe like if you could do like a little slight Superman, like he's in the pose of tearing off the shirt or something.
Yeah,
and you see the little
freezes too quickly.
Yeah, the yellow and red underneath. And
Well, they don't mind bringing up Superman sort of in passing in this series, do they?
But, you could get Dean Cain, because apparently Dean Cain used to play basketball with George Clooney while they were filming this.
That's right, yeah.
So you could have got him in there for a little. Well, the guy that, like, a lot of the ice, it goes up and down in terms of quality, mostly down.
Yeah.
And that phone booth shot looks appalling because it's very blatantly just plastic wrap. Just like
I think the cop cars that are coming up are even worse. When it goes from kind of the CGI beam, and then we go to just some kind of foam that they've just stuck to the back of the car.
It looks bad, but story-wise, I like the imagination on display. Like, from a film point of view, like when he freezes the car and it keeps going as an icy block and smashes through the shop window. That's much cooler than other movies would just be like, they freeze in place.
Yeah.
So at least, as bad as it looks, something cool happens.
It does.
That's true.
It does enter in much more of a chaotic element of danger, because not only are things freezing, things are actively blowing up, and the police can't get near them and stuff.
Are those fatalities, police fatalities there?
They may be, yeah. But we know Freeze has killed many people in this movie. They never acknowledge the fact that, that flower ball, all those people are, because how's Commissioner Gordon gonna thaw him? He's not gonna be able to, so they're all dead. And so this is Arnie just that he's an Arkham with multiple life sentences, I imagine, tacked on to his he's crazy, but
Plus, would this be attempted murder or would it be manslaughter?
I think it's attempted murder, because he's not planning to thaw any of these people. This is like,
can they prove that?
Yeah, that'd be the trial. Then would be like if you say that Ivy told you to do it, then you'll get time off your sentence or something. It's like, oh yes, she was there with him. Why stop there? Why kill Batman and Robin, but not punish the society that made them?
There you go. That's the sequel that we want. The Trial of Mr. Freeze.
How would they rig the courtroom? Would he have to be in the suit the whole time? I guess. Or?
Yeah, I should
a
hope so.
cold beam on the the perch.
Oh,
the
even
judge
better,
freezing,
right?
like shivering next to him the whole time.
That's perfect, right? Because a cold beam you could use. It's almost like a spotlight. Don't make a movie. Make this a stage play. Take this to the West End. Take it to Broadway.
One other thing I did note, because we get a sign for Old Gotham Beer, which is, I don't know if it's a bar or it's a brewery, but it's I mean, it doesn't sound appealing anyway. Old in front of any beer just makes you think like, well, how old is it?
Hey, this is America though, where they haven't got a lot of history. So anything that seems old, they're on board for. They're like, oh yeah,
it's a case of Bud Light we've had in the basement since 1967.
Jesus Christ. I make apologies for a lot of cheap beers, but that takes the cake. I can't apologize for Bud Light. And it's even worse on tap. It's the only beer that's worse.
I don't think I've ever had it on. I don't think I'd ever think to order it on tap because
I got it because I thought it'd be funny, and it was cheap, and it was the last beer of the night. So I'm like, okay, cool. No, it wasn't cool. No,
it was room temperature. The worst part of it. There's also a sign across the way that I took to Facebook to have translated because it appeared to be in, I wasn't even too sure what language it was, Japanese or Chinese.
It's Chinese, but well, they use very similar. Japanese use the same. They call it kanji that Chinese use, but sometimes they don't mean the same thing.
Yeah, but apparently this means sakana ya. That's how it translates. I got it from my friend Coralie, who speaks Japanese. So I assumed she didn't say it was Japanese, but I assumed like, oh, it must be Japanese if you translated it. But
no, well, this is the thing. It can technically be either because of the I keep wanting to say letters. They're not letters because of the characters used. So it makes sense to both.
Yeah, but apparently it just means fish seller. So he's freezing the fish as well, dear Lord.
Well, keeping it fresh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe that'd be the thing then. Like the company can't be like, we don't sell frozen food, and they try to offload now their stock. They're like, technically it was frozen in the mass freezing, but like, it's still technically fresh fish. Come on.
You know what? I'm revising what I said. I said, oh, it's Chinese, but the Japanese use it. That's true, but I didn't realize that the window that the police go through is a Japanese window.
Yeah.
Because that very explicitly, that doesn't use characters. That's using katakana, which is Japanese only. So it could be like a Japantown kind of a situation. It could just be a mix match,
Yeah, in Batman Forever, isn't the bank at the beginning in something called Pan Asia Town?
Ah, there you go.
So it still could be. That hasn't helped.
So it's sort of
That's complicated it more.
Yeah, it's a lot of the because they have always said too. Barbara Ling did always maintain like, oh, it's their version of Gotham was like, well, it's 1930s, Chicago and stuff, but it's also Tokyo basically. So could be it's just supposed to be like, yeah, it is basically it's all little Tokyo around these parts. So, but yeah, so there's more. That's this whole minute is just freezing. Get the cop cars, get blasted. Go into the noodle place, which presumably is getting sourced by the fish sellers across the street.
Yeah. Oh, but those lanterns look very. I don't know. Screw it. It's Pan Asia. But yeah, I mean, that's a great setup, isn't it? If you're a restaurant, if you've got the fish seller literally over the road.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. Well, I will say too, like as much as we're gonna most likely be laying into a lot of elements of these minutes throughout the week. It's a great shot, though, when it does the sort of shot of the tower that freezes on. And with the blue beam coming out of it and it's going right across. That is it's sinister. It just looks cool. It's like, that's a good job. Like, if you're going to do Mr. Freeze freezing a city, that's about as good a shot as you're going to get of anything, really.
No, it's one of the best parts of the movie in some ways. Yeah. Like, because it feels somewhat serious.
It shows you too how much like when he plugged in the freezing engine, we saw beginning to freeze the we call it I keep saying planetarium, but it's not really a planetarium. It's observatory. But now I see like it seems to have frozen like it's obviously seeped down in through the ground. It seems to have frozen the entire mountain face that he was on as well and stuff. So it's that's all looking. It's a nice job. I'll give him that. But yeah. So then we have coming hot around the corner though is the dawn of the Bathammer.
A new toy has arrived.
Yeah.
Or has it?
Oh.
Make that 2. Make it 3.
Yeah. We get good close-ups of the other 2 in the next minute, so I don't know. We should leave them to talk about then. But we get the Bathammer in all its glory here, though. And did anyone ever own a Bathammer? Was that?
I have recently purchased it.
Oh, nice.
It was not one that I wanted to get at the time, but I saw it pretty cheap, and it is pretty good actually once you get it in your hands. It's one of the only ones that actually lights up, which is weird.
See,
like they made the Batmobile, but they didn't actually make it light up. You'd think they would. It's an obvious sort of thing.
Well, that's the main thing people remember of this Batmobile.
They just stuck stickers around the sides to make the kind of glowing bit. Ridiculous. So they put all the money obviously into this Bathammer that they wanted to off-sell, and that lights up at the front. It makes a kind of noise, I think, when you move it along the floor. It's got kind of like little tiny wheels on the bottom. Cool. And it's got a couple of missiles, and it is pretty fun. I can't deny that.
Well, I think this thing looks amazing in general. Like in the movie, I know we make fun of a lot of things in this movie, but genuinely, this looks awesome. I love it. I don't know how Batman has it. I don't know why he has it, but he has it.
It seems to be a giant. Like it's huge. Like it's like bigger than the friggin' Batwing in some way. Like it's so it takes up so much of the gut. Like they're having to kind of drive behind him because it's just basically taking up the entire street. And it's just that thing of Batman always got something just in case. So he probably heard there's an ice-based villain. That very day he was like, Alfred, begin construction of some sort of ice-based, super vehicle that we can use once and it'll get blown up then. But,
well, as we've established, Alfred really is the hero. He's the one coming up with all this, surely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is your classic kind of Bat movie trope. I mean, I know a lot of people will kind of rag on this movie because this is the toy minutes, and this was the toyetic movie and everything. But this is the classic trope that you always have. Even going back to like '89. He brings out the Batwing at the end. Batman Returns, he brings out the Bat ski boat. Batman Forever, he brings out the Batwing and the Batboat, and the Batwing turns into a Bat sub. Even Nolan's not really, brought out the Batpod for Dark Knight.
I always remember my brother saying, like in the early days of the Nolan trilogy, like as long as there's no bat plane at any point, and then Dark Knight Rises,
Dark Knight Rises,
there's a kind of bat plane thing.
And then I think actually Zack Snyder was probably went ballistic with Justice League. There's the Nightcrawler, there's the Flying Fox, the kind of aircraft carrier that they have. The Batmobile has a new cannon attached to it, and then in the Snyder version that just came out, he put the Bat Tank from Dark Knight Returns at the very end of the film. So he's he loves his toys as well.
I remember people seeing that shot though, and like they're gonna use that tank from Dark Knight Returns. Like, you see that shot? You seen of it? That's it. That's its entire presence in the movie.
That's all you need. It's that good.
And then the Flash, they're bringing. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but I think there's a new Bat bike for Affleck's character. I know they've shot some stuff.
Well, obviously we'll know this time next year. We'll know for sure. But I am a bit sort of like. I'm assuming Keaton will have more than one Batmobile, because it would seem weird to me that he just hung on to the same design the entire way through, when it's just like, Batman's always updating his stuff. Like he had 2 different suits when Keaton played him because he was updating the tech as he went and stuff. So them just have the same old Batmobiles. Like I guess you want to have that in the movie because it's like iconic and stuff.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised at the end. It's like, oh no, I got another one. No, I've added a fin. You know.
I guess it was also when they did Batman Returns. Like Anton First had died like the year before or 2 years before. So I guess they were like, let's not touch that because it seems kind of a bit kind of like ghoulish to kind of chuck his really good Batmobile away. Plus, the Batmobile didn't get destroyed, so there's no reason. You've got to have a reason. You've got to destroy something in order to.
I think the weird thing actually, in Batman Returns, it turns into the Bat Cucumber for that one bit. But then it seems like Bruce Wayne's out there fixing it at the end. And I was like, I thought this was going to be updating to the super cool Batman Forever mobile, but apparently not.
If you think about it, they don't have a lot. In movies and TV and stuff, they haven't got a lot to go on for inspiration. Like Adam West didn't change his.
Yeah. No.
So it's like, well, Batman has a Batmobile. It looks a certain way. It stays that way.
Yeah. Maybe Adam West, he had a different Batmobile every week. That would be pretty impressive.
The cost of that show was through the roof.
Yeah. Well, single-handedly destroyed that entire television network.
Worth every penny.
Yeah.
I love the name as well. Can I just say BATHAMMER?
Yeah.
Like, that sounds tough. That's cool.
They really, that went through a big, I'm sure, like a big focus group meeting. Like, what should we call it? It needs to sound strong. Hammer? Yeah.
It does sound cool, because you could come up with so many names for this thing, and almost all of them are terrible. Like, I don't know, Bat Sled.
Yeah, Bat Sled doesn't sound. Bat Ski Boat was terrible. That's to me below this.
When we were doing that movie, every time I had to say it, it was always like what do you call this thing again? The Bat Ski Boat, the Bat Ski Boat, the Bronski Beat. Okay,
Bronski Beat. I was thinking
Bat. There you go.
Small town boy.
It reminds me actually. Have you ever seen Neil the Batman, the Brave and the Bold?
Oh yeah.
And the last ever episode, which is a freaking phenomenal episode, where Batmite has grown weary because Batmite lives between dimensions, and he's just a Batman fan.
I grow weary.
He's grown weary of this world, and he decided he doesn't like lighthearted Batman anymore. He's going to try to get like Batman the Brave and the Bold canceled. So he tries to introduce a whole bunch of different ways. One of them is to get Ted McGinley to play Aquaman because Ted McGinley. Like, it's such a deep cut joke that like Ted McGinley's a sitcom actor who came into several sitcoms and they all got cancelled within one season. And it's you can tell at the end they're like, this is the last episode. Who cares if the kids even get the jokes and stuff? But one of the other ways he does it is kind of mocking this, where he goes like, "Oh, we have to introduce more merchandising and make it more toyetic, and people will get fed up with that." And so Batman at one point shows up in his neon-powered Super Street Bat Luge. Which is basically a one-man bobsled, and he's got like really crazy zany colors in his suit and stuff, and he's just constantly going around talking about his neon-powered Super Street Bat Luge over and over again.
I don't think they made that, but they did make a Brave and the Bold Batmobile. I don't have that one. I'm not really collecting that line, but that was a really good Batmobile, and it kind of had like. The kind of sides came out and it kind of turned into sort of like a flying car kind of thing, kind of like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but for bats. But yeah, so it's always been a trope. Let's not fight it. Let's just enjoy it for what it is.
And let's make it get a crowdfund a toy for the neon-powered Super Street Bat Luge. Says, I definitely want one now. Knowing that I can't have it means I definitely want one.
Oh, I'll buy you one.
Yeah. I'm surprised that's not been done more. You're definitely gonna get it with Matt Reeves, but the idea of a Batmobile that can turn into a plane in some way, like it could start to fly.
Oh, especially because it's basically a jet engine.
Yeah, it seems like a thing that they should have done in a film. It's like at least Zack Snyder, he has the kind of the cartoon craziness going on in those movies.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of that. One thing they did do for Batman and Robin, well, actually, no, they did it first for Batman Forever. Is they had like a what was called a triple action vehicle, and you could have kind of the Batmobile, and you could take off the wheels and put wings on it and turn it into the Batwing, even though it's not quite the same. Or you could take the wings off and you could put a boat on the bottom, or you could sort of like combine them to make some kind of like Frankenstein, sort of like your own sort of like, well, it's got wings and wheels and everything. And one of the crazy things they did was they re-released that for Batman and Robin. In Batman and Robin packaging, put that back on the toy shelves, even though it's not anything like that in the film. It's just one of those sort of like, we just need to put some stuff on the shelves.
But yeah, so we do get the that's pretty much some nice shiny shots of the Bathammer here.
The only thing I was disappointed about is, unlike the Batmobiles, there's no technical data online for any of these vehicles.
That's a lot of, like, you were a godsend to us last season, Neil, because you were creating the sort of the hub of where to get information on Batman Forever.
Yeah, sure.
And the thing is, like, people love the first two movies so much that there's the information about everything is so easy to get, but no one cares about
no one gives a shit.
and Robin. So we have to actively claw information out of friggin'.
Like, I'm just trying to think. There's a company called Eagle Moss, and they did these Batmobile, like tiny little kind of die-cast things in kind of big plastic box, and you could get like the first couple in the newsagents, and then get a subscription. It would get sent to you. I don't think, but what you did get was a magazine with it, and like someone had done for all of these, and they were just like the movie Batmobiles, the Batboats, the Batwings, and the comic book stuff as well. They did kind of really detailed 3D cutaways, and they did kind of like technical kind of information and stuff like that. But I don't think they did. I don't think they got around to the Bathammer and Bat.
I couldn't find anything for any of these three online.
Yeah.
So, because the Batmobiles, you've got like, I mean, it's all fictional, but you've got like top speed and all these kind of things. Like nothing for these. Nobody. People are just that in awe of them. They're so cool that they haven't written down.
I think if you go at the Internet Movie Car Database as well, it's like, oh, that Batgirl's the Bat Cycle is a Honda. That's like,
that's
about it. Anything else about it? No, that's it. Honda. Like, and there's some information in the making of the book too, but again, it's all kind of gearhead stuff. Where it's like, wow, I don't really know anything about all that. So
it was a Transportation Effects, is it, company that made the Batmobile? They made basically all the vehicles, I think, for Batman Forever and Batman Robin, obviously with Barbara Lang kind of probably giving some, guidance and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got more vehicles to talk about next minute.
Let's not blow a load, as it were.
Yeah.
Yes, we will head off now into the dark, dark night. Neil, would you like to tell people where you can be found online? Tell them about your site, or plug anything you like that you've got in the works.
Sure, thank you. Come to www.1995batman.com or come to 1997batman.com if you want some Batman and Robin stuff. And look me up on YouTube. It's 1995 Batman. You'll find a whole bunch of reviews. I think I'm up to about like 70 odd reviews now of various kind of bits of Batman Forever merchandise, audiobooks, and all that kind of stuff.
Ooh, well, yeah, do check it out if you haven't already. I mean, I hope you listened to last season, and if you did, you know that we went on that site all the time because we brought it up. But if you haven't, if you've joined us this season, go and check that out for the previous films. Fantastic. And come and speak to us as usual on Facebook at the Batminute Listeners Cave, Twitter at Batminute, Instagram, The Batminute, and I don't know, look us up on TeePublic, Patreon, all of that nonsense. What else? Check out the website, thebatminute.com. I mean, it's just to hear more episodes. There's nothing else on it, but it's a different way to listen. Isn't that wonderful? You can listen to us all formats, all forms, all browsers, all everything. We're everywhere. You can't get rid of us. We're like a rash. And much like a rash, we'll appear to be going away and then come back strong, because we'll be away tomorrow and back on Wednesday. You think you've got rid of us. You haven't. So join us then for more exciting Bat-Minute action.
Next time, where does he get those wonderful toys? Some figures of action hasten to where an icy psycho is secluded in tricked-out toyetic transports, accessories sold separately, batteries not included. But as a newly sired Bat Squire is blasted off the street, which observant redbreast will risk his beak to ensure this chic heroine lands on her feet? We're rolling with the homies. That's a Clueless and Coolio reference, don't you know? On Wednesday, Bat fans, same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
We'll be back.